Very much, madam. Uh, I'm happy again being part of this FDP organized by Padma Bhushan Vasantrao Dada Patil Institute of Technology, Budgaon District, Sangli. I express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Principal Dr. Ghevade. Uh, my similar gratitude goes to Dr. Anushka Patil and also Miss Mandale. So it is really so nice being with you all. And my very special thanks again go to Sergey Rao for this opportunity. And yes, as I said to you yesterday, Sergey Rao has been so consistent with his academic work, which I do appreciate. Yesterday we dealt with, just a second, yes. We dealt with the basic aspects. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the basic aspects of phonetics like speech sounds, then what is phonetics? Also, we discussed the difference between phonemic and phonetic articulation or pronunciation. And also there were certain other things associated with these factors. Actually, phonetics, as I said to you yesterday, is one of the most important disciplines in our life. And phonetics does not mean English phonetics. It means phonetics of every language. Marathi has its own phonetics. So have the rest of the languages of the world. But then what matters in general is that there are certain languages that have developed their phonetics to a fair extent, or we can say excellently. Whereas we find that certain languages, particularly the ones like that of India, have not their phonetics that much developed. Coming to the case of Marathi, I would say that phonetics of Marathi is not developed to the required or expected degree. That is what actually always disturbs me. But then, yes, let us hope in times to come it would also develop. Phonetics is important because it gives us the essence of language, particularly spoken language. You must have come across spoken English classes, and you find that there are people that run these classes, and phonetics is not taught there. And that is the biggest tragedy of these classes. And I had once, expressed this point at a national level webinar. And I said that spoken English classes mostly get focused upon the grammar. Actually, grammar has no role in a spoken English class. But then the people are yet to understand it clearly. Anyway, let me begin as we have more material and less time. Less in the sense I cannot speak for a long time owing to my health condition. I am, of course, quite well, but then I feel it risky to go beyond maybe 60 minutes. Let us begin with say, the syllable. Syllable is something that is generally neglected, and It require, I mean, sometimes it is also, we find, followed subconsciously by the speakers of any language. Say, we have Marathi words. When you have long words, you cannot pronounce them at one stroke, at a single go. Then you have to divide these words. And what do you divide these words into? Then you can say you do divide these words into the syllables. And syllable is defined by the Oxford Dictionary like this: any of the units into which a word's divided, containing a vowel sound and usually one or more consonants. So you find that the definition tells us that it is a small unit of a word. Say we have letters and sounds. As I said yesterday, letters together form small units of the word. Say, for example, you have these letters ASK. It forms one unit, and that unit is ask. Similarly, LOOK, four letters also form one unit, and that is look. And it is a similar case of the last word. Then we have also longer words. The longer the word, the greater the number of units. I hope I am clearly audible to you. Can somebody confirm, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. The longer the word, the greater the number of the syllables. And that is what actually we find it. And say, we have at least four types of syllable or four types of words. Word number one is monosyllabic. That is, it carries or it contains only one syllable. We have disyllabic words. That is, the words that carry, two syllables. We have also the words that carry three syllables, and they are called as trisyllabic. And then if a word carries more than three syllables, we can say that it is a polysyllabic word, and there's no limitation to the number of syllables a word can carry. See here, ASK, you can pronounce it at one stroke: ask. LOOK, look, and see. Now, these are the three words that you can pronounce at a single stroke, respectively. And that is why they are called as monosyllabic. But you have the other words following. For example, you have ATTACK. You cannot pronounce this word like ask, look, or see. You have to stop when you pronounce this word. Stop in the middle. It is called a pause. Pause it, a slight stop in your pronunciation. For example, attack. So when you pronounce you take a pause and then move forward. So it becomes attack, attack. Similarly, risky. So when you pronounce re, you take a slight pause there and then continue. Risky. Similarly, it is bluish. So you divide this word into two units, and these two units are called as the syllables. Then we have the three syllabic words, or trisyllabic words for that matter. For example, we have the words into the brackets like sensation. If you wish to pronounce it slowly, it becomes clearer, more clear, I mean. Sensation, and then it can be clearly audible. When you make a hurry, and pronounce this word, then there's a possibility that it would not be clearly audible, clearly intelligible, or understandable to your listener. And that is why you have to take pauses. So in sensation, you take two pauses, and these are slight. They're not longer pauses. Sensation. So sen is the first syllable, say the second, and shun is the third one. Similarly, we find disbursement. You cannot pronounce these words at a single stroke, as has been the case of the monosyllabic words. Disbursement. So you stop at this. You also stop at s, and then you continue with month. Then senselessness. See, if you pronounce these words in a hurry, in a rush, then there's a possibility that it would cause misunderstanding. And that is why the syllable becomes a very important part of communication, particularly speech. If you do not keep the pauses, then your communication is going to be mistaken. Then we have polysyllabic. Polysyllabic means there are many syllables. I have taken two words, one having 6 syllables and the other 5. For example, organizational. So see, the 6 syllables are there. The first one is org, the second is third nine, fourth zay, fifth shin, and the last, that is sixth, is o. Organizational, that is how you have to pronounce it. Say, the speed has to be reasonable. It shouldn't be less than required or more than what is required. Similarly, we have a 5-syllable word, that is nationalization. So na, then shin, al, eyes, Asian. So that is how you find it. Nationalization. So you have to take proper pauses, and then it becomes more intelligible. As I said to you, any infringement of this syllable can cause lack of clarity in your communication. And lack of clarity means obscurity. Obscurity exactly means no proper understanding of your word. And that is why it's important that we, while communicating, also get similarly or simultaneously focused upon the syllables. See, when we communicate, we have to take note of many things at the same time. And that is what, you have the case of a driver. When a driver drives a car or a vehicle, any kind of vehicle, particularly, let us have an example of a car. While driving a car, the driver has to look after the steering. Second thing the driver has to look after is the proper shifting of the gear. The most important thing that the driver has to look after is, watching if there's some kind of hurdle on the way. If the road is clear, then you have the fourth thing, it is accelerator. Apart from that, the driver has to also take care of the indicator in case there are certain turns or the driver wants to change the side, etc. And then overtake a vehicle. And the driver has to also look after the speed. So many things at the same time. And a successful driver is quite dexterous at doing this. A good driver, an expert driver, let me say, never lets you realize what kind of smoothness he applied with the help of the skills he or she has developed as far as driving goes. See, I mean, this communication is also like the process of driving. You have to look after so many things at the same time. And one thing that I left out of it is the driver has to also look after the vehicles that are on the left, right, and the backside. Say that there shouldn't be a vehicle that can dash the driver off and that car off, etc. So many things, at least half a dozen things the driver has to concentrate upon at the same time. I mean, the driver has to look after so many things simultaneously for a smooth drive, smooth and safe, of course. So if we need a smooth drive and say a safe communication, smooth drive of communication, safety of communication, then we have to look after so many things simultaneously. That is what actually I wanted to share with you. It actually came to my mind all of a sudden, just like a brain wave, you can call it. And then I felt that this is a better example to share. Sometimes the speakers might think that they can leave out certain things, maybe syllabic division, accent, etc. But then that communication would not be going smoothly and safely. And that is why we have to, take care of this. And mind you, as far as the syllable is there, we have to also understand that there's hardly any number or any limitation to the number of syllables occurring in a word. See, I forgot to include that word here. I had that plan on my mind, but then I forgot, I'm afraid. There's a word in the dictionary by Daniel Jones, and it is the earlier edition, maybe 15th edition, I suppose. In that, there's a word, because in the later dictionaries or later editions, that word has been dropped. So from the latest edition, it is definitely dropped. There's a word which has 57 letters and around 30 odd syllables, or maybe around 40 odd syllables. And there are also more than a dozen of accents used for certain syllables. It exactly means that if the word is longer, there's no limitation of the syllables occurring in it. Of course, in general, we do not have the longer words. At least we avoid using those longer words, because we want to make our communication pithy, short and meaningful. And that is expected and that is appreciable as well. But sometimes you find that we have been helpless to make use of the longer words. See, there are the subjects like botany. In this, there are certain botanical terms in the discipline of botany. And these botanical terms have been, so long. I do have discussions with the faculty members working at the Department of Botany, my friends. And I keep discussing, this area, that is words, terms, etc. And that time I come to realize that a subject like botany has so many words that have greater length. I guess it is a similar case of even engineering, the discipline of engineering. There might be the words that have been long and longer. So in the case of such words, there's no limitation to, say, the number of syllables occurring in those words. So this is how the syllable is. The importance of syllable is it makes your word clearer to listen to. And not only this, it also brings in the smooth flow of communication. So this is what, and this is how the syllable is important. Like, then we have the accent. See, accent has two meanings. One is associated with the word, and the other is broader. For example, this broader meaning tells us that one specific language is spoken in one specific area or country or region, and the overall language is called as accent in general. For example, we say he makes use of American accent. She makes use of British accent, etc. And this accent exactly means that person, that specific person makes use of the language of a specific country. Say, while speaking about British and American Englishes yesterday, I missed out bringing to your notice one fact, that you have to determine which variety you wish to choose while communicating on a regular basis. For example, if you choose British English and continuously use it, your confidence level goes up and high while making use of that language. It is a similar case when you choose American English. I mean, we can afford only these two varieties of English. For example, if we wish to go for Australian English, then vocabulary and pronunciation are the issues that would trouble us. And even Canadian English has the problems of spelling, etc. And of course, the native vocabulary. But then British and American are the two types that are understood everywhere, if not spoken. For example, even if you go to the Australasian countries like Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, etc. American English is understood there. British English is also understood there. But those people would be using Australian English. Australian English spoken by the New Zealanders, Australians, and the people that dwell on the Australian continent. So make a choice of either British or American English. If you, for example, wish to go abroad, this is one thing. And second thing is, there are also the people that strongly demand Indian English. And Indian English has been an area that is developing but not fully developed. As you find, the examples or the instances of other languages, for example, British, American, Australian, African, Canadian, etc. We do not have the full-fledged development of Indian English, and Indian English does not have much scope beyond India. And second thing is, when you choose British English and communicate continuously, it would help you gain a lot of confidence, as I said earlier. The same case with American English. But if you try to mix British and American together, it would cause you problems. You can have differences. I mean, you can learn both, but it would take some time. But at present, if you wish to develop one specific variety properly, then it's important that you make a single choice. Anyway, let me come to the next point, and it is that of accent. See, the emphasis that you should give to part of a word when saying it. Every word has some syllables. If A word has 4 syllables. Not all of them are of equal importance. At least one syllable stands out, and the rest of the syllables do not find that prominence. It is called prominence. You give a special emphasis to a specific or a particular syllable in a word out of maybe 4, 5, whatever. Especially when there are disyllabic and trisyllabic words, you find that these words carry single accent. Accent also has an equivalence called stress, or synonym, we can say. Stress. But then there is a slight difference between the two. Accent is a term that is more specific. For example, the red marked signs that you find at the top and bottom of the words before you happens to be the accent mark. Some people call it the stress mark, but accent mark is more appropriate to apply to this definition. What is the difference between the accent and stress? Maybe they are similar up to 90%, but 10% difference is there, and it is that of, say, the syllable. For example, when there is a single syllable, a syllabic word or monosyllabic word, we find that we stress it, but we do not accent it. When we accent a word, there's always a mark, like the one that you find here, red marked. Anyway, what is the role of the accent? Accent always helps you emphasize certain syllables. You want to tell your audience that you wish to emphasize this syllable. Why? Because it is more important. And it also comes naturally. For example, we have a word called organization. Actually, there's a mistake here. This I is wrong. Not wrong, but then I have not used as a regular symbol of it. You find it maybe in the dictionary of Oxford. So organization. So what is more important in this word are the 2 syllables. One is or, and the other is zay. Now, the the mark at the bottom is called as secondary accent, and the mark at the top is called the primary accent. Secondary accent is placed on that syllable which is more prominent than those that are unstressed. For example, a and nine are less important than og, and zay is the most important syllable or the most prominent syllable in this word, and it is more important even than og. It is more prominent even than say og, and this is why it is called as primary accent. You can have the alternative shift. This can be put here, here at the top, and this can be put here at the bottom. For example, organization, if you pronounce it, then zation has less degree of prominence. Say yes, and org has greater degree of prominence. You can shift the primary, you can replace the primary accent with the secondary and secondary with the primary, but then it does not mean that the significance remains the same. If you put the primary accent on, or if you replace the secondary accent with the primary, then this becomes more important. See, for example, zation is the most important, zay is the most important syllable in this word. And when this accent mark is put here, then og becomes the most prominent syllable, and zation becomes less important or less prominent than og. This is what the result of the shift has been, shifting the accent. And as I said to you, even the accent has a similar role to that of the syllable when it comes to presenting clarity of communication. Clarity of communication comes with appropriate division of syllables and appropriate use of the accent, and that is how you find it. See, organization has two accents, attack has one accent, and care has none. Why? Because it is a monosyllabic word, and the monosyllabic words generally do not carry the accent. Temperament, when you have the accent at the top of temp, you have direct. D is less important than re. When you have to emphasize re here. So re stands out here, and it is more prominent than D and kt. So this is how the accent plays an important role. I have also chosen a three accent word, and it is misinterpretation. Say, miss and ter are less important than tei. No, and miss and ter are more important than in and shun, because they are stressed at the secondary level. Even here, you can get the the accent shifted. So it depends upon what you wish to do with this word. Misinterpretation. This is how we can pronounce it. So one word can have many accents. Here, there are three. There could be a dozen of them, or it could be more than that. Depends upon the length of the word. We have single accent word, and it is markedly. And we have the word without accent, like ray. So the third column is that of the monosyllabic words which are never accented. The middle column tells us that there are the words with single accent, and the first column tells us that there are at least two words that carry more than one accent. The use of accent in this fashion also brings in prominence of communication. And there are certain things that we should note down. For example, I have already said it. A single syllable does not carry accent. Disyllabic, trisyllabic words carry single accent, and polysyllabic words carry many accents. So polysyllabic words have many syllables, and they also carry many accents. See, here I have put together both the syllable and accent. I caught a photograph from a book which I mentioned yesterday to you, A Course in Phonetics and Spoken English. And out of that, see, you have, for example, the first word, production. So product and shun are the three, syllables, and duck stands out, and that is why it is accented. We also have guarantee. See, the accent does not usually fall upon the first syllable. It can also fall upon the last syllable, as you find here in guarantee and cigarette. Cigarette. So there's no fixed rule for the accent. It can come anywhere, but mostly it falls. I mean, if it is a disyllabic word or trisyllabic word, the majority of the accents fall upon the first syllable, first or second syllable. And when there are the exceptional words like guarantee, cigarette, reminisce, then the accent can fall on the last syllable of the word. So this is how you can find it. Here you have an example of you know you have the examples, in fact, of the four syllable words, five syllable words, etc. Sometimes even five syllabic words or five syllable words carry a single accent, and these are the examples. I shall move further. Then one more important aspect of phonetics is the weak forms and connected speech. Connected speech is hardly followed in India. Say we have the total number of the weak forms as 45, and these weak forms are used with the are used for the auxiliary verbs, conjunctions, pronouns, prepositions, articles, miscellaneous words. There are some 4 or 5 miscellaneous words. But the auxiliary verbs are not connected in general in most of the cases. Also, we find that there are the two classes of English speakers in India. One class is that of the elites, and this class usually lives in the metropolises like Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, etc., Chandigarh, etc. These people, this elite class of people have been so particular about their accent. The overall competent use of language, whereas the second category of the speakers are not that aware of these suprasegmental features of a language. These are called the suprasegmental features: accent, syllable, intonation, weak forms, connected speech, etc. When you come across well-educated, well-established people, you find that they become more and more particular about their expression. And we have the non-standard speakers, the second category of the speaker, second category of them. And when the second category of people tries to communicate, they carry certain shortcomings, and mostly they are related to maybe pronunciation, grammatical errors, and these suprasegmental features of language. But then these people have been so conscious about that, and they would always point out the mistakes of the others. Anyway, connected speech is something that we have to understand better. For example, I have taken some 5 examples here. It's not possible to deal with all the weak forms. In the classroom, I do teach them every year, even if it's not necessary. Anyway, see, there's a sentence that is not fair. We, in general, pronounce this sentence as that is not fair, whereas The native speakers or the standard speakers of English, and there are two types of people that maintain almost all standards of communication. One is the native and the other standard speaker. Then these people would pronounce this statement as that's not fair. They would pronounce that as that. So they would pronounce it as that's not fair. That's not fair. So that and is connected by them, and is pronounced as sir, not is, not full is. That's not fair. Even if it is written separately, you can also find a statement like this, that apostrophe s, even that is pronounced in a similar fashion. That's not fair. You have another example, and it is the dog is ferocious. The native speakers wish to contract the length of sentences they produce, and that is why they make use of the connected speech, and they also make use of the weak forms on a regular basis. So they would be pronouncing this sentence as the dog's ferocious. They would not say it, the dog is ferocious. They would pronounce it as the dog's ferocious. See, in the first example, is becomes sir. In the second, is becomes z. And there's a rule. There are two types of sounds. One is voiced, the other voiceless. And this could be determined with the help of the vocal cords. Now, actually, in the practical class, I could have made a better presentation of the weak forms and connected speech. But since we are online, I cannot do it to a satisfactory extent, at least to myself. So here we have the vocal cords. And when, for example, we pronounce sir, putting our finger here, we find that there is no vibration felt upon the tip of our tongue. But when we pronounce g, we experience this vibration. Can you do it? You put your finger here upon the vocal cords. That is called Adam's apple, Kanta in Marathi. You put your finger, you touch it closely, thickly, and pronounce it and experience. Pronounce s, s, and pronounce z, z. So while pronouncing s, you find that there is no vibration, and while pronouncing z, there's a vibration. So the sound that has vibration is called voiced, and the one that does not feel vibration or produce vibration is called voiceless. This you can experience on your own. And it is on the basis of this that you find that ed turns into t and d and id. For example, yesterday I said worked. Some people have the habit of pronouncing this word as worked, and it is not t. It doesn't end in t. It is t because of this case, that is voiceless sound, etc. I mean, it takes a lot of time actually. It needs a special lecture, but then it is not possible for me to get focused on it. Anyway, and here the third pronunciation of is. Is it fine? These are the three pronunciations. Two are weak. For example, that's not fair. Sir is weak. So is z in the dog's ferocious. And whereas we find is in the last sentence is a full pronunciation of is, and it is not a weak form at all. Then we have has. In the first place, you can pronounce it either has or simply huz. Huz may come down. Has Mary come down? You have the in the second example. For example, John's left for London. They do not say John has left for London. They pronounce it as John's left for London. And then we have that's worked ultimately. That has worked ultimately. It's not like that. The importance of the weak forms is that they make the communication rather smooth. They help the smooth flow of communication get smoother. And this word is pronounced as was. Example, I was busy. It is not was. It is a strong form. But weak form is was. I was busy. That was a case in point. And the last one is shall. We mispronounce it as shall. It's not shall. The strong form is shall, and the weak form is shall, but it is not shall. Shall I come to you? Then we have the intonation. See, intonation is very important. It determines the meaning. See the definition. The rise and fall of the voice in speaking, especially as this affects the meaning of what's being said. See, we have the falling tone, rising tone, rising falling tone, and falling rising tone. I didn't find the symbols of my choice. I collected them hardly. I collected them working hard, and I could not find the symbols of my choice. Still, I could give you, or I can give you, a sense of understanding of these tones. See, without tone, the meaning cannot be ultimate. See, we have falling tone, which is used most around the world. Rising is next, and rising, falling, and falling, rising are rarely used. In certain cases or in exceptional cases, rising, falling, and falling, rising tones are used. Say, someone comes across me and I say, "Good morning, sir." The response would be better, "Good morning." But if I say, "Good morning, sir," then the tone of mine would change understanding and meaning of that sentence. It would not be the real wish at all. That is what we understand out of the tones. Tones always determine the intonation. See, we have the falling tone that is used in at least 6 contexts. Number one, when we have to pronounce a complete and definite statement, we can make use of falling tone. This is one thing, but then why this is used as the tone of first preference, there's a reason. And the reason is falling tone always gives the polite impression. Although not in all contexts, but in most of the contexts, it gives an impression of politeness. For example, whenever we speak to people, we speak in a low tone. High tone is considered a sign of impolite attitude, and that is why it is avoided. And falling tone helps us present our politeness. Anyway, so complete and definite statements. I've had my meal. This is complete and this is definite. And meal is the word I make use of the falling tone. I've completed, I have had my meal. So I start I start on a plain ground and I continue this way, and then I come to fall in my voice. This is called falling tone, and generally falling tone falls on the last syllable in a sentence. Generally, not usually. I mean, not all the time. We have WH questions, which are neither polite or impolite. For example, what's your name? You can make use of that. Falling tone. We have commands. Bring me some coffee. Bring me some coffee. This is a command. We have invitations as well. And in invitations, the falling tone is used. I have pleasure in inviting you to the function, like this. We have exclamation. Wow! Exclamations. So the exclamative sentences make use of the falling tone. Great! Wonderful! Etc. We also have tag questions. You are happy, aren't you? You are happy, aren't you? So this is a tag question that makes use of falling tone. Then we have the rising tone. I have chosen only 3 uses of it. One is yes, no type question. The question that has the answer either in the affirmative or negative. For example, do you know him? Know is the word that you take on the rising level. Do you know him? Do you know him? Or is she here? Here is the word. Is she here? So the answer may be yes, she is here. The answer may be yes, I do know. Or it may be no. No, I don't know him. Or the answer may be no, she is not here. Then the statement that is intended to be a question. For example, you are going. This is how you can turn a simple statement into a question. You're going. So here, the rising tone is used and the request is also there. Bring me that, please. Bring me that, please. But then, there's also there's an exchange between the falling and rising tone. Sometimes you find that rising tone could be replaced with falling tone and the falling tone vice versa. Sometimes, not all the time. It can be an exceptional circumstance. Now you have rising falling tone. I forgot to mention here falling. So rising falling tone. Now, how can you use the rising falling tone? For example, when there's an enthusiastic agreement. For example, it was horrid. It was horrid. At that time, you find rising falling tone is used. We also have suspicion or mockery. Sometimes we doubt someone's statement. And at that time, we make use of the rising falling tone. Example, what's he been doing? What's he been doing? So You know, will you be able to do it like this? Will you be able to do it? I mean, here, someone is mocking, someone is suspicious about something. Then we have sarcasm. Sarcastic statements have been used to mean something that is opposite and ironical. The meaning is never straightforward. For example, someone says, well, today I talked back to my father. I didn't care. And the response is, good job that you talked back to your father. Does the speaker mean it's a good thing? No, it is not. And in Marathi, we find that sarcasm is mostly used. And if the listeners have appropriate knowledge of language, figures of language in particular, they can understand the tone of the speaker and ultimately the actual meaning intended. Say, not all the time. Say, the best example of sarcasm or irony for that matter is found in a Shakespearean play called Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar, the king, is killed by Brutus and Cassius. Now, Cassius is the person who prompts Brutus to kill the king. And Marcus Antony is the patriot, the person who loves his country and who has his loyalty to the king, speaks at the funeral of him. And he says, Brutus is a good man. Actually, he doesn't mean Brutus is really good. He's brave. But when he says he's brave, he means something suspicious. Brutus cannot be brave because Brutus is the last person to stab the king, but he doesn't stab in his chest or stomach. He stabs the king in his back. And the king looks back and he says, Brutus, you too. So, you too. I mean, this is, there are so many things Shakespeare has left as the permanent impact upon the minds of people. And see, for example, there's a statement in Romeo and Juliet. What's in a name? If you call the rose by some other name, will it stop producing its odor? I mean, these are not the exact words. So there are so many things Shakespeare has left with his audience as permanent memories and certain steps of language. Anyway, so sarcasm always means the exact opposite of what is being said. Then let us come to the last type of falling rising, last type of the tone, and it is falling rising. We have incomplete statements. Well, if you don't behave like this, I shall come hard on you. I mean, this is the statement which is not expressed. If you don't listen to me, like that. We have also the use of falling rising tone for the sake of correction. And the correction is, for example, by way of speaking something randomly, we commit certain mistakes. For example, we say, he has or she has 2 children. No, I think 3. So when you wish to correct something, at that time you make use of falling rising tone, and you also have the warning in the falling rising tone. And the warning is, you mustn't do it. You mustn't do it like that. So this is how the tones have been used. And the tone always adds to meaning, it produces meaning, it changes meaning, and it also helps the speaker play with language. But without intonation, you know, we cannot produce melody in communication. If, but there are some people who have the habit of continuously speaking without pause, without break, without accent, without syllabic division, etc. Their communication becomes tedious, boring, tiresome. But if you make use of pauses, gaps, intonation, etc., then you are bound to produce melody in your communication. Melody of a koel or cuckoo or nightingale, etc. Because language sounds sweet to our ears if we systematize it that way. And you just have a glance at the poetic language. It is melodious. There's melody in it. Why? Because poetic language follows these features of features of language or communication, and that is why poetry comes nearer to us, dear to our heart. It comes as dear to our heart. There's also some kind of prose that carries the same I'm sorry same kind of dearness which is carried by poetry. So language is not simply a matter of communication. It is something beyond that. And there are so many people that have worked upon language. And you find that there are also people that have worked on each individual aspect of the language. For example, some people have worked upon adjectives, some others prepositions, some others nouns, some others syntax, semantics. Only one area of language has been worked upon by them, researched upon by them, and they have come to develop, the beauty of language. Language has a lot of beauty, which is called pulchritude. And if we try to gain that beauty, it would not only make us absolutely satisfied and pleased, but would also produce the similar experience to our audience. So there are so many things to discuss about language because this is an area that keeps on widening. The more we speak, the more widening it becomes. But then uh, the use of proper intonation, you know, you have two types of water. The one type is the serene water. Serene means which has calm flow, no movement at all. And the second type is wavy water. Why do we go to the beaches? Because we wish to enjoy the flow of the waves. The serene water does not afford us that pleasure, which is afforded by The waves. When the waves dance and come to us, touch our feet, we become so happy. And we are also happy when these waves go up and wet us maybe halfway or maybe the full of our body. So wavy communication is also like that. When you have ups and downs in your communication, the people would be happy to welcome it. But if it is the radio static, in the past, we used to listen to the radio maybe up to 11 o'clock at night. Afterwards, there was no program upon the radio broadcast. And then there began the static of the radio, like this. And it did not end until the radio was turned off or turned down. That static in our communication would always produce, ruckus communication, or what we can say, blabbering, or maybe something which is uninteresting, dull, etc. So to produce the beauty of the waves in our communication, we'll have to adopt the method of application of the tones. See, I'm not good at rising, falling, and falling, rising. Falling tone, I think I'm good at. And rising tone, I hardly love. I do not make use of rising tone unless it is necessary. But intonation helps us a lot. So intonation comprises weak forms, connected speech, syllable, accent, everything. And it produces the ultimate beauty and melody of communication, or that chosen language. There's a lot more to speak about phonetics, and this subject is so close to my heart because I was never trained on phonetics. And since I studied it on my own as an undergraduate and developed my interest further, it became one of the dearest areas of study to me. And that is why I kept on studying it. But nowadays, we find that there are a lot many developments in the area of phonetics. We have clinical phonetics, we have forensic phonetics, and these are the advanced levels that have emerged out of basic phonetics. But unless we are aware of the basic phonetics, we cannot touch those advanced levels. This is one thing. And the other thing, which is very important, is basic phonetics is a must for every speaker. That is what I can say. So with this, I would say I am so much grateful to the Honorable Principal Gewade sir, then Dr. Anushka Patil, Ms. Mandale, and yes, Mr. Sergey Rao Narwade, for uh, having involved me in the process of the faculty development program as a speaker. I am really grateful to you all, and my sincerest thanks go to each member from the audience side for having given me a patient ear, I believe. And that is why, as I said to you yesterday, I am very much grateful to them as well. So with this, I take your leave for the time being and wait for your questions. Thank you very much.
Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Thank you, sir. Once again, I'm Amit. Thanks you for such a wonderful presentation and helping
Thank
us
you.
understand the syllable, accent, beat form, and connected speech, intonation, and its application of these in different contexts amongst the English-speaking community. Sorry, sir, some reverberation of the sounds. That is why.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Uh, we will get a feedback from our participant. Then, as all we know that we are continuing this faculty development program since Monday. So, I would like to take a few notes from our participants, what exactly they feel, and they suggest some ways to improve ourselves. Firstly, I would like to invite Prasad sir, if you have some word for us.
Uh, Hello. Chavan sir, are you able to listen me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Good evening to all. My name is Professor Reddy Patil. I am here to give the feedback about the FDP on behalf of the participants. So we all are attending this FDP of communication skill in English. Since 14th of September, we have received a lot of valuable information from both the resource person, namely Singh sir and Pandit sir. So just I will brief this about this workshop FDP. Singh sir has given more emphasis on the three things. One is about communication skill without grammar, tenses, and 7 laws of teaching with his expertise in the fields. Today, since last 2 days, Pandit sir has given more emphasis on phonetics with his expertise in this field. So on behalf of all the participants, I am very much thankful to both of these resource person. We have got a we have got lot of valuable information from your side, and all of you have refreshed our knowledge. So I will give assurance to you that each participant will implement these things. Each participant will implement all these things in his particular performance and will produce the best results, and such a type of result we will definitely convey to you in future. Lastly, I am very much thankful to our management, principal sir, and organizing committee member for giving us an opportunity to attend this FDP in campus only. Thank you very much from my side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. May I now request to Prasad Phalle sir? Sir,
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
yes, sir. You are audible.
So, good evening, one and all, in this present in this online session. It gives me immense pleasure to give a feedback of this 1 week FDP on communication skills in English for teacher. Actually, it is a FDP for train the trainer. So this FDP started on Monday, 14th of September. Actually, 4 days continuously. Sarvan Singh have given a very good and valuable information. He have given very good examples. He have shared his experience with us. On Monday, 14th of September, he have explained about how to master English language without reading grammar. On Tuesday, 15th of September, he talked about tenses. On Wednesday, 16th of September, he have talked about 4 basic skills, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. On Thursday, 17th of September, Sarvan Singh talked about important 7 laws of teaching. Yesterday, Friday, 18th of September, respected Dr. Milind Pandit sir talked about basics of phonetics, and today again he has joined with us You have talked about syllable, accent, stress, and intonation. So all these 6 days we have enjoyed very much, and I hope all these 6 days will be fruitful in future. Also, I expect same kind cooperation and help and support from both the resource persons, respected Sarvan Singh and respected Dr. Milind Pandit sir.
Always there.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Last but not least, I am very thankful to our management, Dr. Vasantdada Patil, Shetkari Shikshan Mandals, Padma Bhushan Vasantrao Dada Patil Institute of Technology for encouragement and great support. Respected Chairman Sri Vishal Dada Patil, respected Trustee Sri Amit Dada Patil, respected Sri P.L. Rajput sir, respected Sri Adinath Magdum Anna, respected our principal Dr. D.V. Gevre sir, all deans and HODs. Also, I especially thank to HOD Dr. Patil ma'am, first year engineering, Professor S.N. Narwade sir, and the organizing team, first department, and all the participants who have joined and attended these 6 days, that means 1 week FDP online. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry for this interruption. My apologies to the principal. I mispronounced his name. I think it is Gevde, and I said Ghevade.
Day.
So
Yes, sir.
my apologies to him.
Thank you, Pale sir. Now may I now request to Ashutosh Dandekar sir, please, your remark. Dandekar sir, are you there?
I am there. Hello.
Yes, sir, please. Yes, please.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are
So first, I am very thankful to you to arrange this kind of program. Both the experts, Sarwan Singh sir and Milind Pandit sir, guided us or guided all the participants in a unique way. Especially in nowadays, we are delivering online lectures. So there is the difference between classroom and online lectures. We have to take much care about our pronunciation, communications, and other aspects while delivering the online lectures. And this workshop will helpful for us in while delivering the lectures in classroom as well as by the online mode. So the subject of Milind Pandit sir, that is totally interesting, and we are always ignoring that particular part, phonetics of any language. Hence, I am again thankful to our principal sir, all the then management and organizing committee of this workshop for arranging and arranging this. Hello.
audible. Yes, you are audible.
Yes. So again, I am expressing, I am very thankful to principal, management, and the organizing committee, Narwade sir, and Anushka Patil madam, for organizing such kind of workshop for the persons like us who are only technical, but not giving so much importance for the subject of communication and English. Yes.
Thank you, Dandekar sir. Thank you. May I now request to Mr. Sanjay Geji sir,
Yes, sir.
your comment.
Hello.
Please. Ha.
Yes, am I audible to all? Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Am I okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening to all of the participants and Mr. Milind Pandit sir also. Geji. I'm a faculty in Mechanical Engineering Department, assistant professor. Okay. Uh, I want to put my views and opinions about this FDP for which is running for last 6 days. Okay. Uh, so I think on the first 4 days it was all about Mr. Sarwan Singh. We were well connected with him, and I will go by day. In fact, both the speakers, Mr. Sarwan sir and Mr. Milind Pandit sir, both have given their uh, both have given the different kind of guidance in case of communication skill and as well as in improving the English speaking. Okay. Uh, on the day one, it was all about Sarwan Singh sir talked about the common bloopers that we make. Okay, we were knowingly or unknowingly we use some wrong forms in speaking, like introducing. We use myself, which is quite wrong. That was not known to us. There are many such things that was brought to our notice by Sarwan sir, and will now try to avoid it. And then we on the day two, I think it was all about deciding the uh, proper tense, and then using it at the appropriate time, because the sense of a tense is very important while talking, because it indicates the exact time of a particular event. So that was important. Then on the day three, it was most of a behavioral thing. How one behave, one should have a behave during the communication between the two people or many people. Okay. Again he emphasized on non-verbal communication. That is also very important. Our gestures and non-verbal actions are much more are equally important as with our spoken skills. Okay. Then on the day four, I think it was about uh, laws of teaching. He said something like seven laws of teaching, and he introduced. He also said about the book, some book he mentioned that way, and then I think he closed his session with a very nice story, and that lesson was very important to all of us. That uh, whatever the answer to the thing that or the lesson or conclusion to that story was, like it is our wish, or it depends on it entirely comes down to our wish, how we want to be, or how we want to succeed in our life. That was the important lesson that we learned. Okay. Then on day 5 and day 6, it was all about Milind Pandit sir, and he took us in totally different dimension that was not really talked about, and that is quite uncommon to most of us. That is, he emphasized about phonetics and this pronunciation, how it makes impact in the spoken language. Again, I really enjoyed your session, sir, Mirin sir.
Oh, thank you
Actually,
very much.
yes, yes, it was really a calming effect on entire session from you.
I
In fact,
see.
I was really impressed by the way you talked, very calm and very peaceful way.
Mhm.
Yes, and then and and today I came to know about this everything, like rising and falling tone, intonations, etc., etc., and how use of these things, how it makes a melodious thing in speaking any language, not just the English language. It impacts in every language. Okay. That's it. And one more thing I want to mention, that uh, Sarwan sir, Sarwan sir was telling that uh, there is a study by Business Harvard School that which says that uh, in a professional life, about 85% contributed by communication skills or spoken skills than the technical skills. Technical skills are only responsible for 10 to 15% of the professional success. So that's how this world is going about. So that's it. So these were my learnings and opinions about this entire FDP. So I will thank you both the resource persons, and as well as I will thank the entire management and organizing committee who have uh, managed this FDP at such a short notice. And I will look forward to have many more such programs which will really help us in improving. In fact, this public speaking is really a one of the hardest skill to master. Very few people are good at that. That will all these things will help us in improving our way of talking and our communication skill, I think. Okay, that's it. That's it from me. I think I made it very long. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, you can, Miss Narodi sir, you can take it to
Thank you, sir.
next.
Thank you.
Okay.
We will definitely try to organize at least one FDP every year. So we'll try definitely, sir. Thank you. I would like to request all the participants if they have any questions regarding how to improve communication skill. They can ask to Milind Pandit sir, and if they have any question on phonetics, they can ask, because Pandit sir he has already designed a syllabus on communication skills. So you can ask any question on communication skill, and he is an acclaimed expert in phonetics, linguistic and stylistic. So any question you can ask on the topic.
I think right now there is no any issue or no any problem, because sir have concentratedly discussed about the phonetics, syllable, accents, stress, and intonation. So which is very much important and related to our what we can say, uh, as in we are all professors as a designation. So students are much eagerly listening to us. So sir have given a very good informative session, and we really enjoyed all the 6 days.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sarjarao, I would like to interfere again. Begging pardon of you all, I forgot to mention, books in my slide. So if the audience members wish to develop their awareness about phonetics more and more, I'm sorry, and they can go for the books like Better English Pronunciation by J.D. O'Connor, published by Cambridge University Press. English Pronouncing Dictionary by Daniel Jones. Phonetics and Phonology by Peter Roach. And English Pronunciation for Marathi Speakers by V.V. Yardi. I'm sorry. And there's also, I beg your pardon, a book by Professor Gimson, not Professor, but Mr. Gimson. English Phonetics, I think that is the title. So together, this material would help you a lot, and bring in a lot of insights to you as regards phonetics. That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. If anybody from the participants, if he or she is interested to give any remarks on the FDP, he or she is welcome. Okay. So now, may I now request to our principal, Dr. D.V. Ghevde sir, to say few words at this occasion.
Yeah, thank you, sir. A very good evening to Dr. Milind Pandit, sir.
Good evening, sir.
I could join this session little late because I was busy in some conference going on for principals
Yes, sir.
of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, Loneri. So yesterday also I appeared as a guest and immediately I had to leave because of the conference.
Good.
But I will listen your sessions and really it was very nice sessions.
Thank you very much, sir.
In spite of your bad health, you have spent so much time with your faculty to guide them. It's really, sir, it is beyond words to say thank you because uh, it was very important for us to conduct such FDP because it's a very basic tool for communication and we use English as our first language in this UG curriculum and therefore most of our faculty must understand how to write English, how to construct a sentence, how to pronounce the words. Because unless and until they learn how these words are pronounced, how the sentence is written in best English, they'll not be able to write research papers. They'll not be able to understand the other people's speech. Therefore, they must understand, and there's very much necessity to have such kind of faculty development program. And it is not a single program. I have also talked with Mr. Sarwan Singh sir that it must be a continuous education. And as Surgeon Narvade sir said, once in a year we'll conduct one FDP. It is not once in a year. I will not agree with this. It must be a continuous part of learning. So every often, frequently, we can decide the frequency and we can take help of Sarwan Singh sir and Pandit sir to guide all of us because we are all learners as far as English and phonetics is concerned. We have never uh, we have never taught how to pronounce the words in our school education. What we have learned is from listening, and Sarwan sir also has stressed this point. If you want to speak a good English, you should listen a good English, and that is the key to improve the English communication. And this English communication, as you know, sir, is very important because if we want to reach the last student, we should be able to speak a good English the way in which that student understands. And unless until we do that, we cannot reach out up to the last student. And unless and until we reach out up to the last student, our quality of education will not improve. Our students will not get motivated, get inspired to work in engineering and this technological field. And what we want here is our students must get motivation, get some inspiration to work with innovation, zeal, and some commitment towards the society. And that is the purpose why we are organizing this FDP. And we'll not stop here. We'll have a continuous interaction. We'll take on some issues as we have discussed in this last 6 days. You have discussed very fundamental aspects of English language. So similarly, we can take one aspect and have one day workshop. Likewise, we can have a continuous interaction with our faculty and we'll give some assignments to work on to them and so that they get developed. Because practicing is very important. One such FDP will not help to improve the English language unless until they practice it in their day-to-day life. And it is our uh, duty now to see how they are practicing in day-to-day life and come noting down the issues related to practice. We can again come out and discuss with you. We can have such short duration workshops so that the faculty gets motivated and gets good inputs as far as English communication is concerned. So I really happy to thank you, and I would like to see your association with us in long run, and that is how we shall proceed. Uh, so I am very much thankful to you, sir, uh, for guiding all of us as far as phonetics is concerned, and you have given very nice inputs and nice sessions yesterday and today. So I'm very much thankful, and as I will always request you uh, to guide us in further endeavors. As and when we require help, I request you to solicit your help and guide us. So thank you, sir. I also thank my first year engineering team, HOD Patil madam, Naravade sir, Chavan sir, all other Patil sirs, and all other team for taking pains to conduct this FDP. And henceforth, we'll have some small duration workshops so that this zeal of continuing education remains continued in throughout our life. Thank you.
So nicely put it, sir. And I really do appreciate your point of view and the kind of fire that you have to develop not only your faculty members and each member, but each and every student, which actually makes you one of the most concerning, and I would put it, if not an exaggeration, one of the best administrators. Yes, that is what I can say, because such words always come out of the best administrators. And yes, as you have expected it, I assure you that I would be just a call's distance, sir, and it would be my privilege
Yeah, okay.
to
Thank you, sir.
to honor your call, sir. So I would be ready to respond to you, sir. That is
Thank you,
what I
sir.
can assure you. Thank you, sir.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, both of you. This is time to offer vote of thanks. On behalf of Padma Bhushan Vasantrao Dada Patil Institute of Technology and Department of First Year Engineering, I offer my heartfelt thanks to the chairman, Sri Vishal Dada Patil, trustee, Sri Amit Dada Patil, principal, Dr. D.V. Gevde sir, registrar, Sri Kiran Patil sir, for their untiring support and timely guidance and help. I am very much thankful to the eminent scholar, acclaimed academician, versatile expert in linguistics and stylistics, Dr. Milind Pandit sir, for his in-depth, thorough, and enlightening two sessions on a really challenging topic, that is phonetics. I am sure his two sessions will inspire to all the participants to take language seriously. I also hope that the participants will learn more and more about language and phonetics in coming days. I once again thank to the principal, Dr. D.V. Gevde sir, for his keen interest in organizing this FDP, because always he was asking when you are organizing, when you are organizing. So I was trying my best along with my all the colleagues, and I'm happy that this come true in the month of September. So it happened only because of the constant pursuit and constant support and guidance from Principal Dr. D. Gevde sir. I'm really thankful to you. I'm also thankful to the convener and head of the department, first year engineering, Dr. Anushka Patil ma'am, for her able leadership and untiring support for organizing this 1 week FDP. I'm very grateful and thankful to all the participants for attending all the sessions very seriously. Because I have given you much trouble, I was sending you almost 3 mails all the 6 days. In the morning, 1 mail, and at 3 o'clock, and sharp 1 mail at 3:30. So I'm thankful because you bear with me. I'm really thankful to all of you. I'm very grateful and thankful to all the participants for attending all the sessions seriously. Once again, I'm sure they have enjoyed all the sessions, I'm also thankful to the organizing committee for working very hard in short span of time. I thank all the faculties who helped to make it happen directly or indirectly. A sincere thanks to all from my side. So thank you all. Uh, Now I request Anushka Patil ma'am, Dr. Anushka Patil ma'am.
हाँ सर
Yes, please ma'am.
हाँ सर Dr. Milind Pandit sir, thank you for accepting our invitation in short period due to your health problem, and all the sessions are very good and nice, and it is useful for all faculty members sir. Thank you once again sir on the behalf of our
Thank you very
institute
much.
and first year department.
Thank you very much,
And in
madam, for
future
your
we want
compliments.
to in future we want to arrange this type of workshop for our first year students sir. Thank you
Okay, thank you. Yes,
once again
madam.
sir. Thank you all participants for their cooperation and enjoying all the sessions. Thank you Gyude sir for your continuous support. Narode sir and all our faculty members, A.K. Chavan sir, Suryanshi sir, S.L. Patil sir, Mandle madam, Jagtar madam, for your coordination. Again, thank you. And once again, thank you for joining this FDP. Okay, thank you.
One announcement from my side. The announcement is that I am sharing quiz on these two sessions because yesterday's session and today's session. So there is a quiz I am sending very soon to you. One more thing, that you will get certificate when you fill up the oral feedback form. So that you will get tomorrow evening. Okay. So you please fill up the quiz, respond the quiz up to 6:20. Up to 6:20, then it will be closed. So thank you all. I'm closing the meeting here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.